of Carmelo Anthony. He was just found guilty less than about an hour ago. Um, uh, this is not shocking news, but we'll talk throughout this. Let's get back into some of the coverage on this case. I think they're still right now. I think they're deciding the actual punishment or something of that sort. But let's go back to the one of the live streams I found that's going on now.
They are kind of more at ease, but keeping an eye on the crowd here, which again has remained relatively peaceful throughout the entire time that I have been here. Back to you.
It's good to know that things have been peaceful. We've really seen people on both sides, those who feel that, who agree with this sentencing or with this verdict, who are on Austin Metcalf's side and feel that justice was served, and those who are on Carmelo Anthony's side and feel as though that this was too harsh. Our Amelia Jones at the courthouse as well. She is in the middle of the crowd there. Amelia, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What can you tell us?
Well, Eden, we have seen people gather in kind of large groups on and off all afternoon. I'm not sure if my photographer, Sam, can kind of pan in here over my right shoulder. This is kind of what I'm talking about, just larger crowds gathering, just really sharing their reactions with one another about the verdict, potentially about what they believe is happening inside the courtroom as journalists like our Fox 4 Lori Brown is sharing updates, and then the journalists on the ground are sharing updates. You might see a lot of cell phones up in the air. We know that social media, this case has really taken on a life of its own online. And so a lot of people are live streaming right now. They were live streaming before that verdict was issued, and they've kind of been live streaming ever since. Now, there are a couple of Collin County Sheriff pickup trucks and squad cars here. I have not seen any clashes with law enforcement. As you heard my colleague Alex Boyer say, the supporters and people who have gathered here have really respected law enforcement. Law enforcement has not had to kind of come towards the crowd, say anything. We haven't really even seen them interact much, but they do have a presence here, clearly. And they have created this barrier between the sidewalk here and the parking lot and the front of the Collin County Courthouse. I have been talking to people, and they shared their reaction with me after that verdict was issued. And one man told me that there is no winning on either side of this. Take a listen.
I just tell people this, man, is until you've been in this situation, you don't know how anybody's feeling. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, this is a no-win situation on either side, you know. You have a child that is not going to be here anymore. God bless his family. And to the family who's going through this situation with their son, it's unfortunate.
Now, we are hearing some, like Alex was talking, upset comments. We know that this trial, no cameras were allowed. It was not live streamed. It was not televised. But as someone who was in the courtroom every afternoon to hear...
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet
Hey,
Base
y'all gotta pay bills
44,
with them.
a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want, and watch it take shape.
Were tasked to take all of the evidence that they heard in that testimony to come to this guilty murder verdict. Now, I'm not sure what people are waiting for out here. Obviously, we know that the punishment phase of the trial is going on right now. I'm not sure if they're waiting to see if any of the family members are going to talk or if any of the attorneys are going to talk. I haven't really had a chance to ask, why they are staying here. All I know is that they are, and we've just seen more people arrive to the parking lot. For now, Eden, that's what I'm seeing live out here. Back to you.
And again, we should note that Carmelo Anthony faces anywhere from 5 years to 99 years in prison. As Amelia mentioned, no cameras allowed in the courtroom. So we've had crews all over. We've had our Lori Brown inside of the courtroom. We've had Amelia Jones outside of the courthouse and Alex Boyer. So really, they have tried their best to share what both sides are arguing, what the defense is claiming, what the prosecution is claiming, and trying to paint the picture of what all is going on there. So as this case prepares for the punishment phase, Fox 4 is, of course, committed to keeping you up to date. We're going to be live on the Fox Local app when there is an update, so make sure that you turn on your notifications to receive the update right to your home screen. We will be right back.
All right, y'all. Okay, so while they're doing that, let's go over to Talk Avenue and go see what's going on. Hold on. 2 seconds. I don't log into a lot of my apps enough. Hold on. All right, let's go over here, and we're gonna swap out. And we're gonna swap out. Okay, let's swap out. So let's go and see what Talk Avenue talking about. All right, let's go.
Carmelo Anthony case just came to a close and the verdict is guilty. Carmelo Anthony now faces anywhere between 5 to 99 years in prison for this. There is a crowd of people outside of the courtroom and the family is absolutely furious. There's word coming out from the courtroom that Karmelo visibly broke down and the family stormed out of the courtroom, and you can hear the screams and the crying, and it's just so fucking sad. My prayers are going out to this family, and my prayers go out to the Black community as a whole. Please, please, do not let these people invoke you, because we all know very well that's what they want. They want us upset, they want us angry, and they want us in the streets.
All right, you guys, so a jury in Collin County, Texas has just convicted Karmelo Anthony of murder. Now, we know that right around closing arguments, a judge did throw in the fact that they can consider manslaughter. They deliberated in just under 3 hours, and they did come back with a guilty verdict for murder. So Karmelo faces anywhere between 5 to 99 years in prison, but we know the death penalty was not on the table because he was 17 years old at the time of this whole situation. So we know that Karmelo's lawyer argued that this was a self-defense case, and Karmelo feared for his life after a confrontation between him and Austin Metcalf. Prosecutors argued that they did not believe that Karmelo actually feared for his life. Now, there are crowds gathered outside of this courthouse, and tensions are expected to rise. Now, also, from what I'm gathering, sentencing will also occur today. Now, you guys, I know there's been a lot of back and forth when it comes to this case, but I'm very curious, what are your thoughts? Do you believe this was a self-defense case, or do you believe the jury got it right? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts, and I will keep you guys updated when sentencing happens.
Karmelo Anthony has been found guilty in the trial where he was being charged with unaliving Austin Metcalf. And honestly, this video was hard for me to make because I feel like there were so many injustices that went on during this trial. Now, just to be clear, I am not celebrating the loss of anybody's child because I cannot even imagine, and I'm sure that that was difficult for his family to experience. And also, we've seen in so many public cases where white men have used the claim of self-defense after unaliving a black boy, a black man, a black woman, and have been acquitted of a crime after not even being touched by said person. And not only that, in this trial, we have an entire white jury who is responsible for determining the fate of a young black man when the person who was unalived looks just like them. How can we be sure that there was no bias in the decision that they made? And on top of all of that, his guilt had to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. So if most of the witnesses from the prosecution side told varying stories, how could there not be room for reasonable doubt? How? And the last thing I'll say is I find it jarring that there were no school staff that were held accountable. Because who was responsible for supervising these kids during this event? Why were they left alone to a point where it was able to escalate this far that a child lost their life. There's a reason that adults are supposed to be present in a school, and it's because teenagers are teenagers. And your job is to make sure that things like this don't happen. I'm heartbroken behind this.
Trigger warning, I have some sad news. Once again, trigger warning, I have some very sad news. They have found Karmelo Anthony guilty of an M. This comes at a time when most of us knew what they were trying to do, honestly, from the beginning. When there are pictures showing up of the prosecutor, the Austin's dad, and the judge taking photos at certain events and an all-white jury, I don't know what a lot of us expected as if it was going to be fair. We hope that the judicial system seen the flaws within itself, but once again, it has prevailed that they don't care about people that look like me and Karmelo Anthony. This is very, very sad. And I'm not going to say it's not sad for the Metcalf family because they did lose a child, but at the same time, too, when a child has the background of starting with others and being in alternative school and not even supposed to be on school grounds, but yet again, they're still looked at as an angel. When you know the situation and you know how it went down and you guys still tried to portray it as these kids were the ones being violated when the kids that it happened to were known to be bullies and carrying around firearms and things of that nature. This is a very sad time, and I'm just so tired of talking about stuff like this. It's like we keep on continuing to take L's. Prayers go out to the Anthony family. And I stay on my people at the end of the day. That's just how I feel right now. And I'm kind of pissed off. I definitely am. Usually I try to stay neutral, but that's why I kind of backed away from the situation when I started seeing how they were trying to do him wrong in this judicial system, not even putting a black person on the jury. Prayers go out to the Austin family. That's all I can say. This is sickening. I'm just here to bring you guys the news. I'm just the messenger.
Karmelo Anthony has been found guilty of first-degree murder in the stabbing of Austin Metcalf in 2025. First-degree murder in the state of Texas carries up to 99 years in prison, which means that Karmelo Anthony could serve up to life in prison with the possibility of parole. What's next is the sentencing phase. Of course, the jury is a jury of his peers in his county, which are all white, so they rejected the self-defense claim and manslaughter. Now I'm trying to keep my composure because we don't know what this young man is about to receive. Do I think he received a fair trial? No, I don't. They just cost him his whole life. Do I believe he was protecting himself? Yes. But in this country, white boys will always get a pass for being aggressive towards black boys. White boys can always be the bully. They can always push, shove, call you whatever you want, and can be the aggressor. And if a black boy retaliates, he's considered a thug, even though he's a 3.7 GPA student and a top athlete. This is his first offense, and I do not believe he did it on purpose. I believe he just wanted to protect himself. Because whether people want to realize, people of the Caucasian persuasion are the most dangerous people in this country. And it could put anybody on high alert. To Karmelo Anthony's family, I am so sorry. But we all know how this country looks at black boys.
Secret Service Sam here with some troubling news. They have just found Karmelo Anthony guilty of murder. This has just dropped. I don't know what this means for Collins County, Texas. I can't imagine the community is going to take this well. As you know, the judge gave manslaughter as an option, but they came back with a murder charge. They ruled that you don't get to meet a shove with a stab. Now, we all know that this seems like it was way more than a shove, and the videos will be released, and we will all get to see those videos for ourselves. But I can't say that justice was served today. How is it that somebody like Rick Chow gets off on self-defense for shooting somebody in the back, a 14-year-old? How is it that George Zimmerman gets off for killing a teenager, Travion Martin? This is just not the outcome I think anybody wanted. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is a sad.
And to piggyback off of that, I think one of the most greatest things is that, he did not have a black person on the jury at all. I think that that they should have showed the video. I think that would have helped us all kind of situate this a little bit better. Rest in peace to the young man that lost his life. No life deserves to be lost. However, this is very distraughting. Okay, very distraughting. It is very distraughting. Let's get into the sentencing. That if you missed the sentencing from earlier, this is the sentencing announcement, and we can check this out and watch this.
I've been watching CBS News Texas. Karmelo Anthony found guilty of murder for fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old student athlete, during a track meet on April 2nd, 2025 in Collin County, Texas. The jury reaching its verdict after hearing testimony from dozens of witnesses over several days. During closing arguments, the judge allowed the jury to consider a lesser manslaughter charge. Under a murder guilty verdict, Anthony faces a punishment range of 5 to 99 years or life in prison, and sentencing could begin right away since the jury came back so quickly. Let's go ahead and now go to CBS News correspondent Jonah Kaplan on the phone from McKinney, Texas, north of Dallas. So, Jonah, what is it like where you are?
You know, I've been speaking to so many people here, and even if they didn't know the people involved personally, this is still very personal to them. And if you think about any of these high-profile cases, what is it about them that resonates? Sometimes it's the law. Does a verdict show new reaches or new interpretations of the law? Or does it reveal something more about the state of the community, the state of society? And here it's clear that it's the latter. You had two young men, two teenagers, both involved in high school sports, and an altercation led to then deadly violence. How it started, what those individuals were thinking in that altercation, that's ultimately what the defense and prosecutors tried to argue, and the burden of proof was on the prosecutors to prove that this gentleman, this young man, Karmelo Anthony, who now was 19 years old, had the intent that when he pulled out his knife, he meant to kill this young man, this young other teenager, Austin Metcalf, 17 years old. And so what you're seeing is a group of people here who say, no, this is not a fair verdict. How could you say that it was a murder charge when this was an altercation? It was a scuffle. He feared for his life. These are emotional teenagers. And the other side saying this has nothing to do with race. This has nothing to do with any racial divide or anything more than just a teenager was pissed off and got carried away and wanted to kill a rival.
And so, Jonah, I had mentioned that the judge had allowed the jury to consider manslaughter. So let's talk about the definitions, because obviously the jury went to the murder charge, first-degree felony. According to Texas law, it's when the defendant intentionally or knowingly causes the death of an individual. Manslaughter is when the defendant recklessly causes the death of an individual. And obviously they had vastly different sentences as well. Murder is 5 to 99 years or life in prison. Manslaughter would bring 2 to 20 years in prison. So let's talk about this sentencing, because we've been discussing the fact that Anthony had chosen the jury to decide his sentencing. Do you expect that we will know that in short order?
Well, that's certainly, I mean, a big change, right? I mean, we're talking for a 19-year-old young man, 20 years versus life in prison. Even if it's on the shorter side, he's not coming out then until he's nearly 40 years old. And so this is a very heavy ask and a big deal, considering what the number of years are going to be. In terms of that intent, let's go back to that, because one of the pieces of evidence that the prosecutors argued was that the stab wound in itself was a deep stab wound. You're talking about up to 2 inches into the body. And therefore, they say that proves that Karmelo Anthony wanted to kill this person. He didn't want to injure him. He didn't want to just, shoo him away or kind of scare him off with the knife, but he wanted to kill him. And that is what the jury then decided. That was proven beyond a reasonable doubt, that was the intent of Karmelo Anthony all along, that the knife was not used just as a deterrent, but instead as a tool to kill and inflict maximum damage.
And we know that from our CBS News Texas station reported that Karmelo Anthony broke down in tears when the verdict was read. His family in the courtroom also cried. They also reported that Austin Metcalf's twin brother, Hunter Metcalf, was in the courtroom for that verdict being read for the first time. Jonah, any other moments from the trial that stuck out to you that you think we should know about that led us to this?
Well, it's interesting that Karmelo Anthony did not take a stand in his own defense. He could have chosen, his attorneys could have chosen to give him the opportunity to speak about his experience and what he remembers from that experience. And so instead, the first 10 witnesses were the other teenagers that were there in this tent and that witnessed the altercation. And look, when we talk about, again, why this is so personal, for a lot of the people in this crowd, the question is, why was maybe Austin Metcalf's friend's version of events more believable than Karmelo Anthony? Was it, did the jury not trust Karmelo Anthony enough? And is that a greater indicator of other suspicions and maybe some inherent racism in society? A lot of people here would say yes, and that this verdict shows that is the divide we still have to come over. This, like many other trials, sometimes it's about the law, but other times it's about something that is much greater. It's a microcosm for other issues going on, and I think that's what we're saying here. And the other key to this is not just now what happens with the sentencing, but how are the emotions going to materialize and manifest? And you hope that more emotions don't turn into more violence.
Okay, Jonah Kaplan, thank you, and keep us posted. And we can also hear more of your reporting tonight on the CBS Evening News.
So that we have it for that part. I am still flabbergasted. Still flabbergasted. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think that his lawyer, I wouldn't say I don't know if he botched the case, but I think he should have brought out more defense when it came to the self-defense. Even if not that, like, I just hate that it's not manslaughter. This man is gonna lose the rest of his life. And I know both sides of the family are very hurt. It's just wow. So, and also let's go over to this. Let's go chime in now. Before the verdict was read, I'm telling you, I had a feeling from Jump Street that that the verdict was going to be guilty. I did. I mean, when I say the jury lineup, I knew, I had a feeling. This is what hold on, let me get this over here. What's going on? This is what Tariq Nasheed was saying earlier about the lawyer and what the lawyer could have done. Let's take a listen to what he was saying.
This is very important for the white supremacists because they really need to set a precedent here. We got to go deeper. Y'all, can we go deep tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Can we go deep tonight? Can we go real deep? We got to talk about the Karmelo case and some of the things that's been happening. Family, I want to take this thing in a different direction with the Karmelo case to talk about his defense. Family,
instead of telling you about how amazing
Bills got to be
he
paid,
really is,
and we're gonna
why
make
don't
sure
I
we
just
help him
show
pay it.
you?
Okay.
Let's say we want a bee explaining the law of
I
gravity.
don't want to be
And
describing the
boom,
degree of law of
in 1 second, you have
1 second. I like it.
I didn't know any better. Boy, it feels like his own defense is trying to botch this damn case for Karmelo. Family, this was a easy, clear-cut case of self defense. This is textbook self defense. This is an easy case to family. This is should have been a very easy win for Karmelo. Everything about self defense, he fits the bill. Everything. His defense lawyers, what are they doing? Yeah? His defense attorneys, they seem like they're on the white tea supremacist code. Yeah, listen, from what I'm saying, I've seen some stuff where they're saying the prosecutor and the judge and the DA and Carmelo's lawyer, all of them are kind of clicked in with each other. They all know each other. They're clicked in. There's pictures circulating with them. I'm like, uh-oh. Listen, can we got to go deep. We got to go deep. Listen, we better understand how white tea supremacists and white tea supremacy works. All right? This case is not about self-defense. It's about white tea supremacy. This is a racial case. From top to bottom, everything about it is racial. Everything about it. Everything, with no exception. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you better understand something. Some of these lawyers, they will botch a case if it's going to maintain white tea supremacy. There's a website called Auto Law. It was a message board. What's the name of that board? There is a message board where there were lawyers. It was called Auto something. Where these lawyers that you can post anonymously, and they would brag about how they would botch cases for their black clients. I can't think of the name of this Auto or something. I cannot think of the name of this damn message board, but they would get on here anonymously, people from legal professions, and then brag about how they took black clients' money and botched cases for them and ended up getting them locked up after they got their money. They would brag about this. I'm old. I'm having an old Negro brain fart. I can't think of the name of that message board. I can't think of the name of that message board. But listen, understand something. There are white tea lawyers who have publicly botched cases or tried to botch cases. See, in law school, they teach you about being a zealous advocate, the idea that a lawyer will do absolutely everything in their power to win for their client. Mm-hmm. But listen, when you're a black defendant with a white tea attorney in a racially charged case, you better understand where their true loyalty lies. Under the system of white tea supremacy, a white tea lawyer, their first allegiance is not with you, it's with the dominant society. They will sacrifice a professional win, you understand? If winning means allowing a black person to successfully challenge and defeat the racial hierarchy, staying on code is more important to them than a not guilty verdict. And you want to know the great example of that? Bob Shapiro from the damn OJ trial. How many of y'all old enough to remember that? How many of you guys old enough to remember Bob Shapiro's ass, who was in the original OJ trial? He was trying to botch that damn trial early on. Oh, some of us OGs didn't forget. Oh, Bob was trying to botch that case. He was low-key trying to cut a deal. He didn't really want to fight that case and bring up the racial element. He was trying to get OJ to make a damn plea deal. OJ was like, I didn't do this. And Johnny Cochran had to elbow him out the way and take over. It was Johnny Cochran that forced the team to practice law that gave OJ a fair trial.
Yep, that's very true. That's very true. And as we all know the saying, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Yeah. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Have a good and safe day. This is heavy. This is heavy. Rest in peace to the young man that lost his life, and my prayers go out to the Anthony family that you be strong